Hello guys, welcome to my 1 week overdue 500 subscriber questions and answers video. Sorry, I'm just distracted by a beautiful stray cat over there on the prowl. Looks like she's coming over here. Anyway, a week or two ago I asked for questions, and by the end of the week I was going to answer them, and I only had 2 questions, so I've delayed it for another week, and I've had a far better response, so I'm starting to film the answers. It's actually Tuesday morning now, but I've got a bit of downtime while I'm delivering this ramp. That cat's so pretty. Anyway, firstly I want to get my best friend Gartut. His question reads, why do all... No, oh, by the way, I'm going to be doing a bit of housework while I'm at it. Why do all lorry drivers think that they're racing drivers? Now, I'm sure it's a rather tongue-in-cheek question, Gareth. I won't spend too much time on it, but basically, most of the time, if you think lorry drivers are racing each other, then it's because they're quicker than the driver ahead of them. That's when 2 lorries are involved. And if it's in terms of a lorry racing a car, it's most likely being forced to attempt an overtake due to it being slowed down by said car. I overtake cars day in, day out, who haven't got a clue of the surroundings or where they're going, and I overtake them. I overtook a car, albeit a classic car, but it was a car worth £63,000, a Corvette Stingray to be precise. Any price above that. And there was a poor lady driving it at 35 to 40 miles an hour on the M5 North. So, no matter how much that vehicle costs, it won't cost much more if she carries on driving it like that, because it will end up causing a multi-vehicle pile-up. So, that's one of the reasons why truckers drive faster than cars at times, and we don't think we're actually racing drivers. I would like to be one, but you know, I'm never gonna be. Just trying to remember, I should have a WhatsApp message coming in hopefully once my dear's read it, but if not, I'm just working by memory. V8 Gaming, you've asked what my favourite truck is apart from Scania. I'm not sure whether you assume, because I'm in a Scania, that my favourite trucks are Scania, because you might be surprised to know that my favourite trucks are the DAF XF. There's actually one in here on the front cover. Not sure you can see it. The DAF XF 105, and now they're in the 106 model. It's my favourite truck on many reasons, to be honest, but predominantly it's to do with in the cab, which is where I'm more concerned with my surroundings. I appreciate that Scanias arguably have the best engine. This manual gearbox in this Scania, now it's been renovated. That's the wrong word, but now it's been worked on and corrected. It's awesome. I've driven automatic and manual. I haven't driven an automatic. Sorry, let me start again. I haven't drove an automatic one with a clutch pedal, which is, I don't know whether it's called OptiCruise or just semi-automatic. Anyway, that's the WhatsApp. But I digress. My main reasoning for the DAF XF106 being my favourite truck is the cab space. The cab and dashboard design, beds, everything to my eyes is perfect. Let me show you in a little bit more detail. Sorry about this. Now, here is the dashboard in a Scania Topline R440 2010 model. Pretty, very nice, lovely, comfortable, accessible, until you want to put something on the dashboard. Which, yes, I know there's laws and legislations about it. But when you're parked up cooking your tea, this space is inaccessible or unusable unless you put a table on, which is illegal or very highly frowned upon. You've got a small table there. Now, on a DAF XF 105, 106, any DAF, let me see if I can find one in this magazine. The dashboard is totally opposite. You have a centre console which acts as a table as well when you're parked up. You can put anything you want there. And you're also far closer to the windscreen should you have the need to access your sat-nav while parked up, of course. Just looking at the picture of the new Scanias are just the same. They're curved like that. Not very keen on it. But I don't think I'm going to be able to find a DAF XF interior in this magazine anyway. Yeah, but that's my main reasoning. The dashboard, there's one here I can briefly show you. It's in Truck and Driver. Shout out to Truck and Driver magazine, actually. They do like some of my pictures on Instagram. Thank you. Right. This is a left-hand drive, obviously, but you've got the dashboard with a table here, which is flat. The steering wheel is right up against the dash. All this right up against the windscreen. Sorry. So you've got a small amount of space being wasted compared to the large amount here. So, hopefully that's answered your question sufficiently, V8 Gaming. Let's try and get you back in here. There you go. Right, my dear has just come through with her help. She sent me the picture of all the questions, so we can move on. Right, Steve Wolski, thank you for your question. He's asked me, is there anything I dislike about my Cinderella? Now, that previous question has answered one thing that I don't like. The amount of space wasted behind the dash. But this is my office, and there's nothing. I can't really think. One thing that I don't like is how you need to have a henna plug to charge things up. At the moment I haven't got one, so I'm having to reach across with all my chargers from cigarette lighter here. Other models have just got a plain cigarette lighter socket, and these henna plugs are far more expensive, I believe. It's kind of like how Apple use their own kind of charging ports instead of a mini USB. just to be different and to increase the amount of business and revenue. So it's a business decision to include those. Also, you haven't got any cigarette lighters or power supply if you're up in the top bunk. So again, you'd need 3 meters of cable to try and charge your phone while you were sleeping up there. And yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say I dislike the truck because of that, though. That's, you know, that's just a driver preference. No, can't think of anything else. So, thank you, Steve, for your question there. David Poole asks an interesting one. Is a dolly knot harder if you're left or right-handed? Now, I'll admit to you now that I don't know, or I can't remember how to do dolly knots. I'm doing my CPC this year, so I'll be sure to refresh my memory on it. But let me just elaborate on it. I passed my licence about 4.5 to 5 years ago, and I learnt the dolly knot then. And then the next dolly knot I attempted to do or watch was 4.5 years later, when I've started working for this company. So unless you actively practice doing something on a daily basis, then you forget to do it. In my opinion, a dolly knot is not like, to some it might be like riding a bike, but to me it's not, because I just haven't had the practice with them. And as much as I want to practice with them, when I'm sheeting up my coils, I want to get them done and not have a knot that I've tried to remember, and, you know, not being safe knowing that the knot's secure. I'll ask Russell Howard, he's a referee. I'll ask Russell Worthing to see if he can answer your question and then get back to you. So, sorry about that. Right, Paul Anderson, thank you very much for your comment and question. I think this was via Facebook, but I'm not sure. How do I know where I will park up, or do I hope for the best? And how do I decide where, if I do? Now, I don't know where I'm going to be by the evening a lot of the time. So, a lot of the, well, probably 50 to 60% of the time I'll phone a colleague and ask them for advice where to park. There's guys that have been doing this job for far longer than me. There's even a guy working for this company who's still working for them after I was coming with them as my dad's little helper. So that's the kind of length of service that some of these drivers clock up for companies. I remember seeing him when I was 12 or 13 years old, driving for this company. So he knows far more places than I do. So failing that, I'll look myself. Once obviously I know where I'm going to be, I'll look on the sat-nav, look for industrial estates, look for quiet roads, look for disused airfield, disused roads, dead-end roads, lay-bys, roads under the, you know, anything that could fit a lorry in, I'll have a look for that on Google. Or as a last resort, I'll use a service station, because I can't see how they justify charging so much to park a service vehicle, because we all have service vehicles overnight. I can understand them paying for the showers, not the toilets, but seeing some truckers using toilets, you can understand the state that they get left in, but that's not truckers at a service station, because sometimes they'll have a separate shower room and shower area to use, as opposed to the main one. And then after that, if all else fails, I'll just drive to the area. We actually did it last week. We stayed on Bristol Science Park, and that was one where I found it all by myself. So you just scout around the area and use your head, and try not to park anywhere where you're going to get moved on, cause an obstruction, or be parked illegally, and then you should be fine. Paul Anderson, I want to thank you for that question, and out of all the questions, I think that was the most productive and my favourite one to answer. Mike Higgy, you asked a fantastic question and also complimented on how I'm a family guy. You wanted to know if I've ever contemplated, or if I was ever single, would I ever consider doing international work? Now, I've never really wanted to do European kind of work, leaving UK, going across the border, coming back. Mainly due to the, all the immigration crisis and all the troubles over Calais and everything like that. Now, I appreciate there's a lot more ports that I can use, but I can't expect companies to just say, oh no, okay Mr. Clark, we'll send you through all these other ones instead of going through Calais. So that kind of work hasn't really interested me. I do follow a company called White's Transport. I discovered them through Luke Vernon, or lorrydriver.com, you might know him. He drives for them occasionally, as we just overtake Mavis on her way to the corner shop. They've got some stunning motors and do international work, but the most I ever tramp is Monday to Friday and then back for the weekend. But if I were to apply and drive for his company, I'd have to be away 2 weeks and then have 1 weekend with my family, and nah, it's not for me really. However, if you're watching my vlogs this week, you'll know I aspire to become an ice road trucker in the future, and it's one of my ambitions. Now, obviously I know that I can't just go over to Canada, sit into an 18-reeler big rig and expect to be trusted it over the ice. No matter how much experience I have over here, I've never driven an 18-wheeler. You know, these trucks are a total different dimension to us. Fair enough, I could probably get in and soon fathom out the gears if it was a manual. If it was an automatic, I could just do it straight away. But there's a lot more legislation, a lot more rules that I need to learn, and a lot more experience I need to gain before I even think about it. But I'm willing to do it, and ideally my end game would be leaving the family here for the ice road winter season while I go over to Canada and the Northwest Territories, working. I use inverted commas because I don't see trucking as working really. It's a way of life, and it's why I enjoy it so much. A lot of people will agree, and a lot of people will disagree. Trucking is a way of life for me. If you watch my channel title, that pretty much sums it up. I wrote a little poem when I started vlogging. Anyway, after the winter season, should I make it back alive in one piece, I've got the rest of the year then to do whatever I so please. Drive more, go on shows, film for ice road trucking. You know, I'm being a bit hypothetical, you know. But that is an ambition of mine, and if I did happen to do it, I'm sure my personality would shine through and let me be on ice road trucking, maybe. You know, I don't know. It's a dream. Everyone can have dreams, can't they? I can't justify going over to Canada, taking my whole family and becoming an over-the-road driver, just doing what I do now, because emigration is changing your life. I'd have to expect my dear, my son and Louise to change their lives just to suit myself. Now, no matter how much I think it would be a good idea and I want to do it, I can't justify doing it until I've got the support of everyone involved. So, it's a bit of a stalemate, and that's where we are at the moment. Hopefully, if all goes to plan, I'm trying to arrange, and my friend in Canada, sorry, is also trying to arrange sponsorship for me to go and attend the convoy in Winnipeg. Oh, damn, she's heavy. Convoy in Winnipeg, and if I can get sponsorship to go over there, then hopefully the whole family will be bowed over by the Canadian experience and want to go and live there full time. But you never know. So thanks for that question, Mick, and thank you for your ongoing support in the comments. You're probably one of my most active. Morning guys, only bloody Friday, but it's not Friday when you're watching this. Just taking the opportunity while I'm nice and early for my day's work to get a few more questions answered before the weekend. I'm going to be on my own looking after the kids because my dear's going out for a hen night / hen weekend, so I'll get the video out as soon as. And just trying to remember which ones I've answered already, and I'm not 100% sure. I think I've covered everything on this side. Thank you for your extra comments during the week. Just managed to get in there. Hope my beard's nice and straight. Right, Trucker Friend Glaze asks, what transmission is my favourite type and why? The short answer is manual is my favourite. Reason being, an automatic truck is good for long distance distribution centre kind of deliveries where you just drive, stop, drive, stop. But my line of work puts you on lots of different ground and different kind of situations where clutch control becomes just a lot more important than if you're just reversing on a bay. When you're reversing on a site with a brick wall one side, 3 builders the other side, and a 5-foot drop at the back of the trailer, you need your clutch, and you don't want to be sat there waiting for the truck to respond for you to move, which is one of the bad things about automatic lorries. A main example on automatics is when you're like approaching a roundabout, and to avoid going into too far a detail about it, you can go to a roundabout in a manual, drop the clutch,
pick your gear and go straight away. No questions. As long as your technique's okay and you haven't missed a gear or anything like that, you'll be on your way and you won't cut anyone up or cause any disturbance, so to speak. In an automatic, same situation. You're coming up to a roundabout, you can see someone coming, but you know you're going to get there and safely get onto the roundabout. However, when you put your foot on the accelerator, the lorry wants to work out which gear is best for you, and sometimes, not every time, it will get confused and it'll either drop it down a gear, drop it up a gear, or won't stay in gear when you want to. Anything, any kind of situation like that, and it'll cause the truck to slow down, speed up, wheel speed, whatever. That's irrelevant, but it could lead to you cutting up the car approaching the roundabout, and just, you know you haven't done it intentionally, but you still end up doing it because of the gearbox. If trucker friend Glaze, if your question was a lot more detailed, as in what kind of manual transmission, now I know in America your trucks are a lot different to ours, and I haven't experienced any kind of transmissions over there. The only ones I've experienced manual over here is a 3/3 with a splitter, which is what I've got here. 3/3 with an overdrive, I'm not sure the correct technical term, and also, well, I'm sure it was a 4/4 with the DAF, a DAF XF, many years ago. I think, God, I am going back a long time, so forgive me. I must say, I think I prefer 3/3. It's got a wider ratio than a 4/4. You can change gears the same way you do in a 3/3 and a 4/4, but it's, I don't know, it just feels easier and smoother with a 3/3 because you've got the gear ratios are spread out slightly more than a 4/4 because you've got this more gears, so you can drop it. You can drop it down gears. You have to be a bit more wary when you're going down the gears compared to a 4/4 because you haven't got as much difference in the range. So you're dropping it down a full gear on this one will take the revs far more higher than they would with a 4/4, if you know what I mean. If you want me to go into more detail about it, just mention in the comments and I'll explain my points about the ranges, and I'm hoping that you do know about manual transmission, so you will kind of get the gist of what I mean. Mr. Edwards, number 8. Do I prefer flats or curtains? No. It's a no-brainer. I prefer flats. I prefer flats because of the extra job satisfaction I get personally. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking nothing away from any lorry driver who drives any kind of vehicle. Whatever you deliver, you get satisfaction, as long as it's there on time. However, you can't put all the stuff that we put into curtain side trailers. And that being said, curtain side trailers can pull stuff that flatbeds can't. So, in the wider aspect, you know, each truck is important as the last. But I personally prefer the flats. I love being outside, which, yeah, you can be outside in the flats, and you can be outside in every one. But, I don't know, I like the added thrill it gives you, knowing that everyone can see your load as well. Everyone can look at that load and go, oh, there, he's the right cowboy he is. Or you can look at your load and say, he knows what he's doing, that's a nice tidy bit of sheeting. Which they don't say about me yet. You know, it's just prefer flats. And last but not least, at the moment, Josh Foyster Howarth asks for the truth about trucking from a trucker. Now, if it hasn't been a long video already, then that question has no answer. It has no ending. And it has no true answer. The only way to know the truth about trucking is to be a trucker yourself, in my opinion. But your question aimed at myself, so I'll give you my truthful answer. I believe if you've got diesel in your blood, if you've got a strong sense of independence, if you've got a loving family, or if you haven't, you know, you can still be single, don't get me wrong. If you've got someone like my dear, preferably not my dear because she's mine, thank you. Someone like my dear at home who understands, appreciates, and is willing to stand by you while you do what you do on the road, then trucking is the best job you can get. If you enjoy being outside and enjoy nature and enjoy engineering and enjoy travelling and enjoy seeing new things every day and appreciate everything around you at any time, yeah, trucking's one of the best jobs I can think of. You've got responsibility, you've got independence, you're the forefront of your company. However many other people think the CEOs and the managing directors, they're all top of the company, you know, they're the forefront. They deal with the clients, they deal with the forefront of other companies, they deal with different kinds of people that we deal with. We are the boots on the ground, so to speak, of every company out there. We represent the company, we represent ourselves, we represent trucking, and we have to remember that wherever we go. Because some lorry drivers seem to have this ego about them, you know, oh, I've got to do this, and they don't realise that every time they do stuff like that and give people attitude at places, when they leave, everyone's like, thank fuck for that, don't get him back here again. And that has a knock-on effect. It can either have serious knock-on effects, like companies losing contracts, companies getting thrown out of sites, companies being banned from sites, or it could have just a negative impact and other drivers think he's an arsehole, other drivers know, oh, here he is again, he's going to have a moan, and then it also could lead to disciplinary action in your company as well. So, if that's the general answer, really. If you're thinking about being a lorry driver, re-watch how I've answered the question, because I've tried to answer the question to give yourself the opinion, to choose for yourself. I've already made the choice. I'm a lorry driver. I want to be a lorry driver for the rest of my days. So be it if it is. But I also want to be an entrepreneur. I also want to be an ice road trucker. I also want to be in the publicity kind of aspect of lorry driving. I've got a way bigger picture of my life than sitting behind there and driving a truck all the time. Every day I aim to serve my company. Not my company, I don't run the company. You know, I aim to serve, represent my boss of Squires Transport within the legal boundaries. But on the side of that, I've also got my other interests, my other life, my family to support, and my other kind of hobbies, and more importantly, you guys. You guys are meaning a lot to me. I've just realised this morning. Oh, it's not on my phone. Well, it is, but it's not open. I've just realised this morning I'm up to 537 subs. Now, YouTube's having a bit of a whoopsie moment at the moment, I think. I have hardly had any notifications about new subs. Please, if you haven't had one, just drop me a comment, and if I don't recognise your name, I'll shout you out. If I do recognise your name, and I am pretty sure I've already shouted you out, then I won't shout you out, because I don't want it to be abused by the internet. I know what the internet's like. But yeah, we're up to 537 subs, and it wasn't too long ago we hit 500, and the last 2 weeks or so I've noticed things go a bit quiet. I haven't had any notifications. The views have been like, the views on each video have dropped, but you know, I'm not doing this for the views. The people who want to watch my videos will watch them. So I was kind of concerned whether I was doing something wrong, but it's just YouTube. YouTube haven't told me that I've got another 37 subs to shout out, and I haven't shouted out half the amount of that. Don't know what I said, neither do I. I haven't shouted out half as many because I haven't had any notifications. So just keep in tune, keep up to date with the vlogs, and once I get the notifications, you'll get your shouts, or if you comment. So, that being said, I'm going to finish my coffee, carry on with my Only Bloody Friday, guys. So, thank you all for your questions. If you go over to either Fastest Fox's channel or Trucker Steve's channel, if I remember I'll link them in the description, but I'll reiterate. Fastest Fox, all one word, and Trucker Steve, all one word as well. They're two other channels. Go and check them out, because Trucker Steve has just reached 1,000 subscriptions. Congratulations from me first. But because of that, Fastest Fox has also hit 3,000 subs as well. So they're both gonna decide. Sorry, I'm losing track of speaking because it's gonna be so funny. They're both going to jump in the sea or the river, but Trucker Steve's gonna be wearing a pink tutu. So go and check it out. It's gonna be absolutely hilarious. Fastest Fox is going in as well, but I think he's a little bit more humble and won't be going in a pink tutu. But I've got every faith Trucker Steve can convince him to put something on. So congratulations you two guys. Fastest Fox, I'm preempting, just going by one of your comments. You said that you might do a bit of promotion for my channel. If you have, I want to thank you very much, but if you haven't, don't worry about it. I'll be at 3,000 myself one day. So thank you all for your questions again. Thank you all for watching. It's been a bit of a different video to normal, but it's my 500 subscriber special, so you can expect to see more of my face. Thank you all for watching, and tune in on Monday for How Am I Trucking Live 189, I think.